Hey everybody, Matt from Crank Engineering, and today we're just going to have a quick talk about arc welding, and we'll talk about MIG welding and TIG welding in subsequent videos. But having put together quite a detailed article about welding just to get people interested, I thought we'd do a video just to cap it off. Let's get started. Okay, I will say from the outset that arc welding is my least preferred method of welding on motorcycles. I do use it for fabricating other things, but not for motorcycle work. A couple of reasons for that. So arc welding, how does that work? So effectively we've got a big power supply here. This machine's a big power supply, and we connect a return cable to the workpiece. So we've got electricity going back to the machine, so we clamp that on to either the piece of work or the bench or the vise or whatever we're using. And we have an electrode on the other cable, which is where the welding gets done. So what happens is, in arc welding, we put a consumable electrode into the holder here, and so these come in and out. We just replace them as required and lock them in, and then as we're welding, the metal in this filler rod is deposited into your weld, and this coating on the rod vaporizes and forms a shielding gas around the weld itself, and that protects the weld from oxidation, from stuff getting into it from the atmosphere. So once that solidifies on the weld, you've got to chip it off. So that's the basic process. So the idea is, we won't do a full demo here, you strike an arc on the workpiece and you're welding along. This is getting shorter because the metal's getting deposited onto your workpiece. So you're welding along, electricity is coming through here, jumping this gap, and that arc is what creates the heat that melts the tip and melts the metal, and then the current goes back to the machine via the grounding cable. So very simple. You can get electrodes for different materials, different thicknesses for heavier jobs or thinner for lighter jobs, depending on what sort of work you're doing. And because this machine is dual purpose, it's also my TIG welding machine. Don't worry about all the controls, but there's one big one which is really just the peak current. So I can tell this machine how much electricity to put down this electrode. So if I'm welding something thin, I don't need a lot of heat to melt it, but if I'm welding something thick, I need more heat, so I've got to turn it up. So that's the predominant control for arc welding, and then your selection of the electrodes is the other factor that dictates what happens on the weld. So very simple introduction, but that's what it's all about. So single machine, no gas bottles, nothing else. You've got a simple machine. As long as you've got power, you can run an arc welder. So often used for outside jobs, sometimes even run off a generator if it's on a workplace or on a farm, something like that. So as long as you've got power, you can run this guy, and the electrode really, the shielding on the electrode is what protects the weld, so you don't have any extra gases or anything else. So very simple, but not quite as precise as some of the other welding methods, or controllable, which is why I prefer other methods, and TIG's my favorite, and we'll talk about that in another video. But this machine does both. So I use the TIG side for the fine work on motorcycles, and if I'm fabricating a big bracket or a workbench or something else, then I choose to use the arc welding capabilities in this same machine. So great machine because it does both, and it does arc just great when you need that capability. So if you've got any questions down below, drop them in, let us know what you think. And there's millions of resources around the web to help you with welding, and if you're really keen to pick it up, go see if you can find a local school, community college, technical school that will teach you how to do welding, because you'll learn the quickest way doing it that way. So any questions, let us know. Thanks for watching.